Amazing, yeah. So, tell me about this very interesting casting, which includes Anurag and Anurag Kashyap, of course, and Mrunal Thakur.
I think Mrunal, I've said this before, but I mean it. I think she's the soul of the film. I think she has an empathy in her eyes. The moment you see her, like, Paapam, you have that feeling towards Mrunal. Like, you just kind of melt. And I think that's what's beautiful about just the qualities, the kind of way she'll bring out an expression. So when you give her a soulful character, it just ends up blooming on camera. And we need a counterbalance to that. Somebody who is menacing, somebody who is very rough around the edges, somebody who moves like a bear. And we thought Anurag sir would be the perfect idea for that. Now the funny part is, I'm proud of the fact that as a writer, I wrote roles that put them in situations that are nothing like what I've just told you.
Okay.
So are they truly that? You have to watch in the film, because I love playing with people's expectations. I did that in Kshanam, where I took comedian Satyam Rajesh Garu and I made him a strict cop, and he's like that honest cop who gives those one-liners. He's like Mark Wahlberg in The Departed. So I loved playing with people's expectations of Anurag Kashyap Garu in this movie and Mrunal in this movie.
Mrunal was fantastic in Jersey. I think that was probably the first time I noticed her in a performance-oriented role, and she's very good at that movie.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yeah,
she's
you have her name out there before yours on the poster.
I didn't realize it until she told me.
Yeah.
I mean, look, to be very honest, there's no doubt that my name's center of the poster, so it's not like but I just thought we'd read Telugu, Hindi, English left to right. And it made sense to put her name there. And it wasn't a conscious decision, but rather an emotional decision that just happened. I didn't consciously plan it, but before we put out a poster, we'll run it by the actors to make sure that they're okay with how they look in it. And she saw it, and that's the first thing she noticed. So until Mrunal told me, we didn't realize it.
Okay. When you write a film, how much of a temptation is it to own the film on the sets because you've written? Now, normally what happens is if there's another writer, or if the director is a writer, then they're controlling the whole thing. But here, the actor is a writer. How do you feel sometimes, supposing a performance is kind of not going where you want, but if the director kind of says, it's okay, does the writer in you says, but that's not how I saw it? Does that?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
We fight cats and dogs. But I think it comes from what you discussed beforehand. I think there's a lot of chaos on our sets, just how I've approached Major, how I've approached Gudachari. It's extremely chaotic. But I think what's beautiful is nobody doubts the intention. See, I saw an actor and I didn't think they gave the right performance, or I didn't give the right performance. I go up to Shanil and I say, bhai, jam nahi raha yaar. And if he says, nahi yaar, mujhe jama, I make it my business to say, but kyun nahi jama karke, and I'll explain why I feel what I feel. The decision is still his.
Yeah. So if he feels the performance it works.
Yes, but I will say enough to say, can I at least try one more? Can I give you this? Just take a look.
Right.
And at least 50% of the time, when I tried something else, he did see the merit in that, and suddenly he had two beautiful options to pick from.
Right.
So if he knows that I'm only trying to do it for the character and for the film and not because of my vanity, your intentions matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the understanding between him and I was beautiful.
How do you rate yourself as an actor?
I think I'm a decent actor. I think I'm a good writer. I think I'm an extremely good editor. I'm a terrible director.
You do want to direct films?
I did, right? My first film, Karma.
Yeah.
But I think what I realized is direction, oftentimes, it doesn't have to be about you feeling the emotion of that scene, but rather you having the tools to make the audience feel the emotion of that scene. And I'm so emotional on set and so passionate and so fiery that I'm the one feeling it. And I'm not necessarily conscious of whether that's translating and whether, So I don't think inherently, like, my system is not built to direct, I think.
Do you think you're too zen for that?
On the contrary, I'm too
volatile.
Too volatile, yeah.
Okay.
Too volatile. I'm zen when I'm not shooting, like right now.
Okay.
I feel zero pressure. I'm zen on stage. I'm zen everywhere else. Unless I have like a particular speech that I'm nervous about, like when I had to speak about Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan sir for the first time, I was nervous then. Unless it's a specific situation like that, I'm very zen.
Why were you nervous?
A man that I truly loved, that I was a fan of, who I worshipped, and I'm representing him and walking out to the world for the first time, talking about him in a teaser launch in the middle of COVID was quite nerve-wracking for me.
Right.
So unless it's a specific context like that, I don't get shaken. But on set, I'm the most anxious person. I'm like that cat that's jumping everywhere.
Do you see yourself as having been accepted as part of the Telugu film industry, or are they like you're this guy on the periphery, on the border that's doing something interesting?
I don't know. I think it's I never really thought about it. I thought it was interesting recently when somebody had pitched me a film, a new kid, and I said I don't like it, and he didn't take that very well.
Okay.
So in saying so, one of the parting shots he took at me was, "Meekentanna, you guys are all in the business. You're mammal tokkestunar." I'm like, when did I become the tokking force?
Yeah.
Mammal tokkedam entra. So it was interesting to think of myself as the underdog in my head my whole life, but you get told by different people that they are fans of your work, or that they love you, or that they've tattooed your name or your face on their hands and legs. And right here, in fact, we were sitting when one fan flew from Japan for the original, and she booked her tickets for the original March 19th release. So she was here, and she visited the locations of my last 5 films as her India trip. Okay, well, there's something that I'm doing right. I wonder, yeah.
Is that a little scary though?
It makes me feel more responsible.
Okay.
Like, yo, you can't FAFO,
Yeah. You need to be.
Yeah, it's responsibility.
Yeah.
It's credibility. There's a lovely line in American Gangster, Denzel Washington said, "Blue Magic, it's a brand name, like Pepsi." So I just feel like it is getting into a situation where maybe there's a certain people who truly believe in me, and I'm seeing it when the moment we announce a film, when an OTT company comes to buy the film immediately, or when overseas gets sold immediately. Everything for this and my next film have been sold out. And okay, the trade believes in you, the audiences believe in you. So work harder. Make sure you really, it's not about surpassing expectations, but living up to what they expect of you.
Right. Would you say that this and Gurachari 2, Dacoit and Gurachari 2, they're kind of a slightly massy and a classy set of movies from you?
Gurachari is extremely massy, I feel. It had lines like Inca, it's a very, Gurachari is a massy film disguised in classy making.
Yeah.
It's like Amirpet mass.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I'm using these terms loosely. You know what I mean though. Yeah.
I feel Gurachari is very massy.
Yeah.
It's got a heroine, it's got a twist, the heroine betrays the hero, he gets hurt in love, hero thinks about his dad. It's like as massy as it gets. We just don't present it like that. And the same is true for Dacoit. I think Dacoit's my most emotionally potent film.
Yeah?
Yeah. I randomly said this line one day and I love saying it. Dacoit's high on emotions and Gurachari is high on excitement.
Okay. That's the caption.
Yeah.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that when we wrapped Dacoit and we did that press meet that day, I actually ended up saying, I think of Dacoit as like gems or M&Ms, where the love story is the chocolate and the hard shell is the action, really. So most of it is actually the love story. It's just told in the rhythm of an action film.
Right.